Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Community Remix. Sorry there haven't been Community Remix episodes for probably like half of a week now. It was not necessarily intentional, I just got bogged down recording other stuff. You know, Prison Architect's going, Isaac's going, the streams, etc, etc. Got a lot of Let's Look Ats that came out, which is a little bit different than it has been through September and August. It was going easier on the Let's Look Ats to do more stuff like Community Remix. Anyway, we're back with Community Remix. This is not a new version of the game, but I shouldn't pick that up, for one. But I checked the Community Remix development page, and the game actually hasn't been updated since September 15th, which is not my way of being like, well, what's the matter, guys? Like, I paid good money for this game, where's my updates? No, it's nothing like that. I'll pick this one up, because I already picked the other one up. You know, it's a slippery slope here. But it's just to say, you know, we're on the same update, the one that added Tiny Planet, as far as I know. Hopefully we can get Tiny Planet without actually having technology or something like that, which would ruin it, because I'd like to see what is one of the cooler tier effects in the game. I'm pretty stoked to have SMB Superfan, though. Dare I say that SMB Superfan, one of the best items that you can get? Well, I mean, it's like top tier, period. It's like an A tier item, I guess. But especially early in the game, you know, what ails you? Low HP, low damage, low tiers? We're gonna sort that out right away. Well, I guess like low speed doesn't really get sorted out because it actually is a speed downgrade. But anyway, this is fine. We are going to place this down. And by place this down, I mean shoot some tiers at the fly. Sometimes I forget that you guys don't have like a direct line inside of my head like the 1991 movie The Lawnmower Man. That was a joke, by the way. It's actually came out in 1994. Yeah, so I say things, and then in my head I'm like, nailed it. But then my ears hear them, you know, this all takes place within a fraction of a millisecond, you know, the heartbeat of a butterfly. And I say, wait a minute, what I said doesn't make any damn sense, and I only think it makes sense because I have the original thought that was mistranslated in the first place. It's like some, you know, Google Translate telephone game. Long story short, I'm super excited to hopefully beat Duke of Flies soon and start to be able to have a cogent line of thought again. Normally I like to save, well, not save, but if I have a bomb, I like to use a bomb against Duke of Flies, especially a tankier version of Duke of Flies, because otherwise he takes 365,000 years, and we witness the, you know, the death of dinosaurs and the rebirth of, you know, mammalia and stuff like that. We're headed down to the next floor, regardless. Why did I take the speed upgrade instead of re-rolling it? Because we got a speed downgrade from SMB Superfan. Very recently, in an Isaac run that is part of the main series, such a good, or a happy accident there, shall we say, being able to find that secret room. But in an Isaac episode that is probably not up yet, but will be up soon, so I apologize for the spoilers, there was a situation where I picked up lard on the first floor, and then didn't get any speed upgrades, but didn't think anything of it because I had so much HP as a result of picking up lard and an HP upgrade on the first floor. But then, my speed downgrade came back to bite me in the ass as I consistently fought bosses that chased me down. You know, Chad, War, etc, etc. And as a result, I ended up ruining my deal with the devil chances and never actually getting a deal with the devil, and then never getting strong enough to do the kind of damage that I wanted to do on that run. I'm not saying whether or not I won or not. I'm just saying I wasn't doing quite as much damage as I hoped I would do. Well, we are key rich right now, which is fantastic. Peeper's Eye is a total reroll, and this is cool. I like number one. It's one of my favorite brand of items in Isaac. It gives you a demonstrable, nearly objective improvement in your actual, like, strength and capabilities, but it comes with an associated cost that is probably, like, you know, disproportionately not so bad, but can add up. So we're in a situation where we will not have a reroll after our boss fight here. We're gonna have to wait until the next floor, or if we fight Krampus, we might be able to get one, but if we fight Krampus, we're probably not going to want to reroll anything anyway, so it really is unlikely to matter. Hopefully we just have something that's at least half decent in here so we can set the precedent for a deal with the devil. And the mark is exactly that item. A pretty good, like, that's good enough for now item. We could have gotten a reroll, by the way, if we went to our, like, boss trap room. We'd have to hurt ourselves a lot to do that. I think we're pretty much done with this floor, and I think it turned out pretty well. If I'd known that we'd be getting the mark, I probably would not have been so excited about that speed upgrade on the last floor, but hey, it's the way it works sometimes. Now we'll be looking for something we don't often look for on runs, but you don't often have number one. We'll be looking for range upgrades. Our damage and tiers and speed are sorted. Our HP is acceptable, even though I just took some dumb damage there. Expect that to happen as I am dealing with... That was a really, really lucky TNT explosion. I expected to catch myself in it and, like, one of the conga liners. Instead, I got all of them and didn't hit myself at all. But yeah, expect me to take damage because we are dealing with number 1 here. And as you're probably noticing, a lot of these enemies... well, I mean, pretty much every enemy in the game gets more difficult the closer you get to it. But in particular, enemies that shoot these freaking bombs at you are really dangerous. 6 keys means golden chests are absolutely going to be opened if we're lucky enough to find any. I can dig this room. Like, if you just give me this room over and over, I'd be pretty excited. Because we are one-shotting the spiders, and we're shooting... Well, we're, like, 3-shotting the big ones, and 1-shotting the little ones. But we're shooting, like, 2 or 3 tiers a second if I had to approximate without actually, like, getting my stopwatch and a strobe light out here. Stopwatch and a strobe light. Apparently, when I do science, it's, you know, back in the Victorian era. Well, not everyone has access to their own Large Hadron Collider. I gotta get that PewDiePie YouTube money before I can buy my own Large Hadron Collider. Hydron? You know what I'm talking about. It's been a while since I've been in the world of academia. It's easy. A lot of people, they, you know, I've been noticing this a lot. I'm gonna reroll this. That's beautiful. And a perfect opportunity for me to soapbox, as we're gonna have a lot of enemies to kill. I've been, you know, moderating questions for this crowdsourced trivia game called Master of the Grid that I've been hosting a lot on Twitch as well. If you haven't seen it, it's a lot like 1 vs. 100, the TV game show / you know, Xbox Live Arcade live trivia show where, like, viewers can compete against one another and earn in-game currency and stuff like that. It's really cool, and I'm a sucker for trivia, so I'm like, it's a match made in heaven for me. But people submit these questions that are, like, from their high school level chemistry and physics classes and biology classes, which is a little easier for me, but anyway. And the questions are high school level. And I think when they submit them, they say, hey, you know, the average person playing this game will have gone through high school, so they should know this. But you, if you're in school right now, let's say you're anywhere between the ages of 14 and 20 years old, if you've gone to post-secondary education anyway, you're 20 years old. So let's say 14, 18, or 14 to 20. You've been in school pretty much your entire life. From the first memories that you have, almost, you've been in school, right? You don't understand, but, like, you have no perspective of what it's like to be an adult to some extent, and I don't mean that offensively. Let's try not to take any more damage here. This has been kind of a nasty floor. When you're in school all the time, it's generally a constant upwards trajectory of your knowledge. You know, you forget stuff over summer vacation. You say, oh, I'm so stupid, I forgot how to do long division. And then you come back and your teacher's like, in case you forgot, here's how you do long division. And then it takes, you know, okay, it's scary here. You know, it takes you like a day or something. You do some homework, you get back, you understand it. Same thing for like physics, or let's say chemistry. I forgot how to use Avogadro's number and calculate the mole of something, or a mole of something. And then you know, your teacher's like, here's how you do that, and you learn it again. Once you become an adult and you get into a specialized field of employment, if it's outside of, you know, teaching or academia, tough luck, man. I genuinely, I'm 25 now. I was a pretty good student in, you know, the sciences and also math as well. And I'm not including, like, English here because I think those skills kind of stick with you because you do communicate on a regular basis anyway. But, yeah, I genuinely, from a math and science standpoint, am a lot dumber than I was when I was 17. I could doubtlessly do a lot more good stuff in the, you know, math, physics, and even, like, the biology department. Despite having a degree in biology, my core biological knowledge is probably less than it was if I was studying for, like, my biology final in 11th grade. Now, that's a sobering thought. At the same time, you know, by going to college, I learned all sorts of important, you know, laboratory skills and stuff like that, which are necessary. Thank God that's full health. That's exactly what I was hoping for. I was so scared that we were actually going to lose this run. But to tie this back into what I was talking about, you know, people, they think that knowledge stays with you forever, but it really is that, you know, old cliche, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's not me saying, hey, oh, that's not Tiny Planet, that's Play-Doh Cookie, that's still pretty cool, though. It's like $3 Bill, except it changes your tiers within a room as well, which is super sweet. That's one of my favorite community remix items, actually. But yeah, so have mercy. That's what in Twitch chat sometimes, like, I'll answer a trivia question and it'll be wrong, but it'll be something that you learn in, like, a high school education. They'll be like, you're so dumb, didn't you go to high school? Talk to me in 10 years, motherfucker. I'm ready. Again, like, probably my peak intelligence, and this is sad, was, like, second year of college when I was like 19 years old. Hopefully that changes as time goes on. And keep in mind, there's a distinction between intelligence and wisdom. I was very book smart at 19, but from a wisdom perspective, very, very stupid. Did a lot of very, very stupid things. And, you know, probably when I'm 30, maybe I'll be saying, man, I was so smart when I was 25, but hopefully I'll be wiser at 30 than I am at 25, and, you know, continuing onwards through life, because that indicates a progression. All I'm saying is you high school kids with your young, you know, malleable brains, don't, you know, get too angry about your grandparents not understanding how to do your freaking, you know, algebraic proofs and stuff like that, alright? Just because you're in AP history right now, you know, you need to learn that information so you can get into college and not suffer some kind of existential quandary about what you're going to do with your life. Once that quandary erases itself, you lose that motivation, man. Unless, again, you continue to work in academia, in which case, that's cool. By all means. And that's like one of the well, it's a very minor reason why I am like feeling woefully unprepared to be a parent. That was a weird way to phrase that, like Kate is not pregnant, we're not expecting or planning or anything like that. But, you know, I can just have these kind of flash forwards to when, you know, I'll be like 35 and my kid would be like in 4th grade or something like that. And they'd be like, Dad, can you help me out with this math problem? And I'm gonna be like, shit, my kid is gonna finally figure out that his or her father is not an omnipotent god capable of anything, and is actually gonna need a bit of a refresher course in order to be able to teach someone 4th grade math. What do you even learn in 4th grade? Like fractions? Man, a lot of adults, I'm alright with fractions, I'll admit, but that's because I've done a lot of cooking in my day. But a lot of adults are not necessarily that good with fractions. It's one of those things, you know, you learn, and then you just forget when you don't need it anymore. You know, if you're... I work in advertising, you know, I'm a filmmaker. You don't need to know fractions. You just, go hire the guy who knows fractions. I need a fractions guy over here. That guy knows fractions. What am I even talking about anymore? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember in the least. There was something good in all of that. But anyway, it's been a nice distraction for what has been a long floor here. We picked up some good stuff, you know, Play-Doh cookies, all right. Halo of Flies is relatively sweet. We got a Spirit Heart, which actually does give me a small chance of getting a deal with the devil if I don't take damage against, red heart damage, I should say, against the final boss here. And in addition to all of this, I didn't die, which was looking for a while like that might be something that could really happen here. So I'm excited about the potential that awaits us on this run. I'm okay with getting a single cube of meat, considering that is going to give us a full suite of orbitals. For a second, I was like, why do we have Ipecac as some of our shots? There's so many things wrong with this sentence. It's not Ipecac, it's Common Cold, and we have it because of Play-Doh Cookie. Alright. We could have rerolled Cube of Meat because the second boss is going to be something different. Yeah, it's not going to have a static payout, but honestly, I'm totally fine with having a first level Cube of Meat. If nothing else, it kind of makes it's like preparing for the future. If we end up fighting a second meat-based boss, it's not going to give us a first level cube of meat, it'll give us a second level cube of meat, which is a lot better. Like, objectively. I don't think you could ever say, you could say that like second and third level Meat Boy, you know, one could be better than the other. You could make a case for either of them. Not with first and second level Meat Boy, unless you're like, I one-shot Isaac, I don't want Meat Boy shooting at him and causing him to shoot more often. But that's like what, like a 1 in 20,000 type Isaac situation? I've never found myself in that situation. That's why I use such an astronomically large number in this case. Well, not astronomically large, you know what I mean. Alright, so we didn't lose red heart damage yet, anyway, against this boss. But we didn't get a deal with the devil either. I would say that floor went relatively okay, but I'm really hoping to get a deal with the devil on this floor. We have set the precedent. Doctor's Remote. Pretty trash item. We got Compass on the last floor, too, which is the other thing that I wanted to point out as being a huge positive, obviously. I'm gonna try to go down to the shop, and then we'll make our way to the boss room. It's probably not a bad idea to get to that boss room ASAP, because we only have half a Spirit Heart. But my hope is that on the shop, we would be able to get maybe, you know, more Spirit Hearts, or one more Spirit Heart, more realistically, or a Book of Revelations that we can then reroll, but we'll take one Spirit Heart from it as well. Thank God that guy didn't immolate. I don't even know if the Leapers can immolate, but anyway. Half-price Spirit Heart, pretty sweet. Might be our last valuable shot, so we'll take shop. So we'll take Notched Axe. I can't reroll it yet, but we will reroll it, rest assured. And we'll probably reroll that more quickly than we'll reroll the bean. I mean, the bean is obviously, like, also useless for us in this situation. But, come on. Come on, blow up that Tinted Rock. I don't want to get too close in case the bomb explodes on the Tinted Rock. There we go. There's 2 more Spirit Hearts. And I'm going to take them because I'm going to, like, pentuple down on getting a deal with the devil on this floor. There is a mini-boss, and it's not greed for once, which is very exciting, I would say. Notched Axe gets rerolled into the ladder. Well, if I thought this was not our last shop, I might take the ladder and start rerolling the bean instead. But I'm paranoid about the fact that I believe this is probably the last opportunity that we'll realistically have to get shop items, so I think we're gonna have to go with it. Now, for once, I find myself, you know, somewhat ironically begging for a range upgrade. Please, good God. I desperately desire something that makes number 1, I mean, that makes number 1 amazing. Because it's already pretty good, but we're suffering a little bit too much from the range down right now, and it's causing me to take damage. This is not the right way to go to get to the boss, by the way. Color me somewhat surprised there. I am going to sacrifice a Spirit Heart just because we're here, and whatever. We learned. Alright, let's move along. I'm still on about that tangent about, you know, youth. You know, basically what I'm trying to get at is, you know, don't be arrogant about it, but just cherish your education, because sure, there's great things about being an adult. And, you know, the laws apply to me, but there's no laws that are specific to my age. You know, as a 24, well, I guess like old age pension or something like that. But it's not like you can't buy this because you're not 26 yet. Nah, dude, I can buy whatever I want. You want to poison your body? By all means, here you go. You're an adult, you can make decisions, all right? That's pretty cool. To be able to, you know, do that and have, you know, do whatever I want with my time. I can be like, you know, hey, where do I want to go on vacation? Oh, I'm gonna take this. I want to go on vacation to here, and I don't have to wait for, like, mom and dad to approve it, right? Mind you, you know, I have to cover my own bills and expenses and stuff like that, so there's all sorts of, you know, other costs associated with it. I much prefer being an adult to being not an adult. That being said, one of the things you lose out on is that constant education, and you don't realize it at the time, because, you know, going to school 8 hours a day, sometimes more, sometimes less in college, I guess, but going to school 8 hours a day, every day, for years, for like a couple of decades, is kind of a grind, right? And then once you get out, you do miss it a little bit. You say, hey, what's going on? I don't know where I'm trying to get. I'm not trying to wax nostalgic. I'm not really one of those people that's like, oh, everything was better when I was 15. No, not really. But, yeah. I wish that I had, you know, they say youth is wasted on the young. I should probably take umbilical cord. I don't necessarily buy that. But I do wish that instead of, like, complaining about having, like, an hour of homework, I was like, you know what? My brain doesn't want to do this, and that's exactly why I should do it. It builds, like, responsibility, and, you know, you spend a lot of your life doing stuff that you don't want to do. But as an adult, the only difference is, you know, you think, like, as an adult, I'm not going to do this shit because I don't have to. Nah, dude, you still got to, like, do your dishes and stuff like that. Otherwise, you're going to get, like, really sick. The only difference is you just can't complain about it. When you're 14, you can be like, I don't want to clean my room, and people are like, yeah, okay, of course you don't. You're 14, you get the right to complain about it. If you're 35 and you're like, I don't want to clean my room, people are like, what went wrong? Unless it's like ironic, I get, like Kristen Wiig in Bridesmaids or something like that. I don't know why that vibe specifically came to be. Anyway, this is a hugely important boss fight for us, just to bring the focus back to Isaac ever so slightly. It's hugely important for multiple reasons, one of which is that if we don't get hit to the point where we lose red hearts, oh, please die, thank you, then we should get a deal with the devil. Nearly 100% chance, I think, if my math is correct. If it's not, keep in mind I'm an old man a little bit, as mentioned several times. Okay, it worked. And the other thing was, we get a deal with the devil item just randomly. So there's Guppy's Paw, and we're gonna get Lump of Coal. So it's basically like a third fall in here. At least we don't have to fight him at the same time we fought the previous two. I'm gonna take a Lump of Coal, and it seems like the worst freaking pickup right now, probably, because of number 1. But I'm banking on range upgrades coming in the future, and I'm banking on, you know, Lump of Coal just being never a damage downgrade. Now, I can't verify whether or not that's actually 100% the case. Is it possible that if your range is too low, like if you hit enemies too close, then Lump of Coal is actually a damage penalty instead of a damage bonus? I don't think so, but I have to admit that it is possible, because I'm ignorant of the, you know, more minute mechanics. Oh, also, it gave us counterfeit dollar. Right. I'm going to take counterfeit dollar. And I'm going to reroll Guppy's Paw without even using it. If we had Blood Oath, this would be different. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to take it. So Brimstone Lump of Coal is a +2 damage upgrade. I feel like we were on the verge of maybe, I mean, this is probably pretty evident by the amount of damage I was taking, but I feel like we were sort of on the verge of maybe having a run that could be lost, so I don't feel bad about taking Brimstone here. Careful. And our charge time should be super good as a result of number 1. But our damage might suffer a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. Sloth is a good indicator of how good our damage is. We're gonna like 4-shot him. That's not so bad. It's not so good either, but it could be worse. Alright, I'm relatively happy with this. The world card we'll use later on. Alright, I'm excited about this. But the other thing is, you know, just to, in defense of kid kind, or, you know, teenager kind, or young adult kind, don't let adults tell you have it easy, man. My life is also probably easier now that I'm an adult than it was when I was younger as well. Now, that's not true for all adults, definitely. It's not true for all adults. What the heck? Black mushroom. So we use this, I remember, black mushroom, we use it and it gives us like more, lower speed but higher tiers. And we can use it over and over and over if we wanted to. Okay. I'm gonna use it one more time. That's roughly as slow as I'm happy being. What an interesting item, because it forces you to trade something that doesn't seem that important, but can become very important for something that seems very important, but might pale in importance later in the game. Anyway, yeah, you know, and I've got all sorts of stuff that I have to deal with. I have life insurance, dude. What the fuck's up with that? When I was 17, I never pictured myself owning life insurance. Why would I need life insurance? I'm gonna be dead. I won't even get a chance to use it. Well, yeah. You know, I'm married now. I've got a small family. You got to take care of yourself in case things go terribly wrong. I get traveling. I was running the other day, just going for a run outside. It was very nice, and then my knee started to hurt, and I had to walk home on it. It was like that was like 5 or 6 kilometers away from home, so I had to walk home on it, and it started to hurt even more. And then I got home and like couldn't extend my leg and couldn't walk for like 2 days. And that's not me being old necessarily, but I'm saying, you know, being an adult, it's got all sorts of like, you know, things you never thought you'd maybe have to deal with. Yet here we are. That being said, being an adult is still pretty sweet. I guess it varies person to person. There's some people for whom, you know, responsibility is something that they'd rather give up responsibility for like freedom. And I'm glad that there's people out there like that, you know, people who are like, I miss being 10 when I could say that I wanted to, like, my favorite food is ice cream. That's cool. I'm glad that there's people out there like that, but I'm not like that. I'm more of a, we're not gonna use this. I'm more the kind of person that's like, you know, my favorite food has always been chicken because I'm boring. And if you're a boring person, being an adult is the way to be, man. And I don't, you know, there's like a cultural assault on boredom. You know, stop thinking Prague Police, start thinking PlayStation. Thanks, Vin Diesel. Maybe you should think about the Prague Police, though, so your ass doesn't get thrown in jail, Mr. Triple X, if that even is your real name. It's not, it's an alias. You know, it's, boring is nice, but boring is exactly the way I want to live my life. I never had any inclination that I wanted to be a thrill seeker. People were like, hey, let's go bungee jumping. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to enjoy bungee jumping. I'm going to be, like, anxious. And they're like, yeah, you got to, like, face your fears. I don't think there's... If you're afraid of pickles, face your fears, okay? If you got a pickle phobia, seek therapy, and that's not a judgy way of saying it. Like, your life will be better if you seek therapy. If you have a fear of jumping out of a freaking airplane, it's completely up to you if you want to face... Ooh, yeah, I'll take it. It's completely up to you if you want to face your fear, because it is highly conceivable that you will go through your life and never end up in a situation where not being afraid of jumping out of an airplane is going to be something that's advantageous for you on a regular basis. Are you part of Operation Market Garden? Are you a United States Navy SEAL? If yes, yeah, okay, you know, if you got a fear of jumping out of an airplane, get it sorted as best as you possibly can. If you're just an everyday Joe, What does it matter? You know? Oh, you should go skydiving, you know, get over your fear of heights. Falling out of an airplane is my fear of heights. If I can just avoid that, then that's not a problem. You know, realistically, if you have a phobia about snakes and spiders, and it's a common one, I guess, you can't say with certainty that you will never encounter snakes and spiders in your life. I don't know if there's many places on Earth where neither snakes and spiders live. You know, I've rarely seen snakes where I live, but I see spiders all the time. They're not poisonous, they're just regular spiders. I get that that doesn't help out with the phobia. But anyway, most places on Earth I think have, really? One or the other, maybe both. Most places on Earth probably do have both, one degree or the other. But I've had a really easy time in my life thus far avoiding falling out of a jet plane. I fly a few times a year. Never has the fuselage broken off from the nose in midair, and I've fallen through the air. And if it did, the one thing going through my mind would not be, you know, thank God I went bungee jumping, so this isn't the most terrifying experience of my life. It would definitely be, oh shit, I'm gonna die. But if you're a thrill seeker, if you're an adrenaline junkie, that's fine. I'm not trying to look down on you. I'm looking down on the way, though, that sometimes people that are thrill seekers try to shame the people who are not thrill seekers, you know? And they're like, dude, live a little. I think it just means I have a lower lower tolerance for adrenaline. That means, you know, the same way that, you know, if you're oh, come on. Wisdom. That gives us a spirit heart, maybe? Oh, it teleports us to the second secret room. That is not even close to what I thought. You know, if you're a binge drinker and you go out to drink with, like, your grandma who never drinks, she has, like, half a glass of wine, she's a little tipsy, and you need, like, 12 beers or something like that. That's what, like, adrenaline junkies are to me. I'm the kind of guy who's like, ooh, this is, you know, this episode of Sherlock is pretty exciting, right? And they're like, live a little, man. You know, jump out of an airplane. I don't need to jump out of an airplane to feel adrenaline, man. I just watch the antics of Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, and I get whisked away to an imagination-filled world of adventure. What the hell am I even talking about? I'm concerned that I'm going to die soon. Not in real life. That would be terrible. I guess I should have re-rolled Enigma bombs, but this has been a very tangent-filled episode. For better... Hopefully for better. I was gonna say for better or for worse, but hopefully for better, you know? Not every Isaac episode necessarily has to be, oh, here's my percentage chance of getting X item. You know, what's the point of being 25 if I can't be... Oh, Jesus, I had Cursed Skull. That might have actually saved my life. What's the point of being 25 if I can't think that I'm old and give advice to people 4 years younger than me that probably is not really that relevant? Alright, well, we do have Spelunker's Hat now, which is pretty good. We're gonna have to gamble a little bit, because I need hearts, otherwise I'm gonna die. So, in a weird way, this might be the one time ever that Cursed Skull has, saved my life. Have we been here? We have enough bombs that I don't really care. Oh, snap. Okay, this is a little dangerous. Don't die to greed, please. This would be a bad way for my life to end. I just really want, like, full health, please. It's been a sloppy run, I'll give you that. It's my first Isaac run of the day. Still got to get a little more caffeinated as well. And I've been distracted. I've been talking about real life stuff. Probably misguided advice from a young person who is maybe slightly less young than the people I'm intending the advice for. But somebody's watching this right now and they're like, they're 28 and they're going, oh, this guy, this 25-year-old, I remember when I was like that at 25. And then there's a 32-year-old who's like, man, I remember when I was 28, I would have hated this so much. Then there's like a 60-year-old watching this who's like, you know, please give me my youth back. I don't know, man, 60 doesn't seem that old to me anymore. Maybe that's something that's easy to say as a 25-year-old. But I'm not saying I look forward to being 60 necessarily, but 60 is like the new 40, right? I really do not need a second dollar. At least we got one red heart, but that's pretty much like where we were before. So, I don't know if this is really what we need here. I'm concerned that we actually will lose this run here. There's no way for me to get more red hearts as far as I can tell. I could take a huge risk and like walk on top of these spikes, but like in the self-sacrifice room I could do that, but I have a feeling that's probably not going to be the way to go. One thing I could do is I could Brim Snap, but I don't feel good about that. Another example of like damned if you do, damned if you don't in publicly playing Isaac. Like 80% of people don't care whether you brim snap or don't brim snap. 10% of people are violently opposed to it, and the other 10% of people are violently opposed to the people who are violently opposed to it. Our full suite of orbitals just saved us a lot of heartache there. Yeah, so I'm not going to brim snap. I'm not brim snapping right now because I'm part of the 80% that doesn't really care but would rather just avoid making this entire episode for like the 130th time about whether or not brim snapping is okay or not. But I brought it up, so fuck me, I guess. All right, we're actually gonna get through this without. No. Oh, thank God. Okay, well we don't need the range upgrade. All right, on second thought, I think I could probably use the range upgrade. We'll head down to the next floor. I thought Cursed Skull would teleport me out and I would die, and that would be the end of the run. So we should probably maybe try to get rid of Cursed Skull as soon as we can, because it seems like it could cause some substantial issues for us here. What do you think our odds are of getting a deal with the devil on this floor? I'm gonna go with low. I don't think it's impossible. I think it's just a little unlikely because we don't have any red hearts backing us up. You know what? Let me give credit where credit's due, because this item gets shit on a lot. I wish that I'd picked up Little Chad. That would have, you know, plastered over a lot of the problems and inadequacies of my playing right now. If I had Little Chad, I would be in a better position, probably. But that's the, you know, that's the dilemma you have to present yourself with every time that item shows up. Alright, this is good. This guy has a metric F-ton. That's a Flargen-ton. It's a rare German metric measurement of HP. So it's a little scary. It's okay, though. Oh, that was a beautiful shot. Starting to get a little excited about the potential that not only may we survive this floor, but we may, and it's so big maybe, actually be able to snag a deal with the devil in the process, which would be sweet. Because I would really welcome... Well, I mean, we've already had Guppy's Paw show up, and that would be like the item that I would really want to save us the most, but we could become Guppy, maybe. That would solve us some problems. That would solve some of our problems. Solve us some problems. That's like some weird, antiquated English that doesn't make sense to my modern brain anymore. The only thing that makes sense to my modern brain in English now is the words hashtag and twerk, particularly when combined. Top 100 Vine twerk tags. I am gonna ruin my half-heart interval because we don't have Polaroid, so what does it matter? All right, Pentagram's a good pickup. No deal with the devil. Makes me a little salty, but that's okay. Let's turn that salt into savory and have a delicious end to this run. Pentagram helps out a ton. Actually, could give us enough damage to conceivably win. I thought I got hit there because I was blinking due to the brimstone charge. That was scary. That half-heart interval is meaningless, but I'm happy to have the extra HP. That does give me one extra hit anyway. And if we could get, perhaps... I forgot that we had... Oh, what? Never mind. I got faked out by my own item. I was like, I forgot we had homing bombs. But we don't have homing bombs. We have Enigma bombs, which for that one bomb served as homing. But then for the other one, just, you know, I got blasted in the face. 2 of clubs. Well, we'll reroll Mr. Boom and then probably use 2 of clubs. It got rerolled into Scapular. Huge item for us right now. Could keep us alive. And we'll use 2 of clubs because 32 Enigma bombs is definitely better than 16 Enigma bombs. So now we actually have 1 extra hit. You just can't see it. When we get hit, Scapular will spawn a Spirit Heart for us. Which means Scapular is basically a get-out-of-jail-free card if you get hit once per room. If we only get hit once per room, now a half-heart interval is important. If we only get hit once per room, we can't die. Now, that's it's a lot easier said than done. And, in fact, it might be really easily said because I might be totally wrong about it. I am ignorant of the Scapular's mechanics sometimes. That being said, it's a huge boost for us as someone who was, you know, on the brink of death and has been on the brink of death multiple times throughout this run. So the more HP we get, the better. Obviously, I'm hoping at some point we can stack up some Spirit Hearts. But we found Mom's Hearts, and Brimstone with decent damage plus Mom's Heart is an easy get. Obviously, something I'm hoping for here is Polyphemus. If Polyphemus shows up, then our Brimstone charge will take a lot longer, but we'll be a lot stronger as a result. But let's, you know, take it easy first. Mom's Heart is, you know, a bit of a celebration for us because it's relatively simple. Monstro's gonna be the annoying part. We're just gonna avoid, or try to avoid at least, stepping on that tarot card for now. We might want that tarot card. If it's something like the Hierophant, I'm gonna be super psyched. Do we get the same bomb every time with Enigma bombs on one room? Is it like random Play-Doh or Play-Doh cookie, or is it like $3 bill for bombs? That's the question I want to know. Because I thought on that last room we got, or on the room where we got Mr. Boom, there were 2 different kinds of bombs. Maybe I'm mistaken though. All right, I think the world card is a little bit more important than the Empress actually, and we didn't want the half heart. I'm gonna go to this room first. And the reason I went to this room first before using the world card was because I wouldn't want to use the world card if our boss was only 2 rooms away. And it was worth checking on. But now that it seems a lot further away, we'll pop this world card and now we know exactly where to go. Probably would have figured it out anyway, but hey, it's not a big deal. Makes it a little... Oh, that's good. Makes it a little faster for us to get down to the chest. Doesn't really matter whether it, and I could be wrong here, but my guess is that it doesn't really matter whether or not we pick up that Spirit Heart right away, because we don't have the Polaroid anyway, so it's not like we're robbing ourselves of future invincibility by picking it up. So, I'm just gonna hang out behind this rock. Whenever there is a bomb fly that spawns, I'm gonna try to explode it, especially when it's right next to 2 of them. That's, like, ideal. Yeah, that worked out fantastically. We don't know what this does, and that scares me. Secret room just contains money. We're losing, like, if you're wondering why our money keeps going up and down, it's counterfeit dollar. Again, gives us the dollar, but also gives us a, yeah, I had a feeling that would happen. Gives us a chance to lose, like, 5 cents every time we enter a room. So I guess we've at least learned that the, you know, the original dollar doesn't compensate for that, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't override it. That's the word I was looking for a while there. Both of these guys are probably like 1 hit away, so... Oh, I wish that I had gotten that bomb fly faster. He was more than 1 hit away anyway. I gotta try this. Alright, well, it was not worth it, but I am impressed with myself that I managed not to take damage. I think it's worth a bomb here to pick this bad boy up. Alright, dare we take it? Let's take it. Oh, that hurts real badly. Like, I don't know if there is a worse pill. Even a health downgrade would have been, like, the same. Actually, it might have even been better because we would have lost an empty container, I think. So, the good thing about this boss fight right now is that we have a very low rate of fire. We also have the scapular, so we've got a little bit more survivability than it appears right now. It's gonna be a war of attrition, but every shot we take now that we don't get hit on is free damage. We need to do a lot of free damage. And you might be saying, well, the angel fetuses will show up soon, and that's when it's gonna get dangerous. And you're not wrong. But when the angel fetuses show up, if we 1 or 2 shot them, that allows us to build rage a little faster. I believe we picked up rage. It's been a while since it was a relevant concern. I'm also not using bombs because if we get poison bombs, the damage over time would obviously be nice from an HP draining standpoint, but would also cause us to likely get hit more often. So we're about halfway through the fight. It's gone very well so far. Orbitals have blocked a couple of shots. I've dodged the ones that I've been able to dodge. It seems to have worked out pretty well. I mean, there's not that many shots to dodge. This is where things get a little tricky. Okay, we are one-shotting the angel fetuses, which is super good. So I'm going to play this a little bit more conservatively than I usually do, and I'm going to basically try to max out our damage by hitting the angel fetuses. Obviously, if I can hit Isaac in the process, that's even better. Oh, geez, I made it. I also turned into an 88-year-old man there, but that's okay. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Oh, I didn't get hit. I thought I got hit by a beam of light from heaven there. Those are the one thing that is kind of like out of our bounds of control right now. But look at that. What a good Isaac fight. Not a very Community Remixy run. Oh, right, we go to Shoal first. I forgot. It's been like a week since I played Community Remix. That's alright. I kind of hate this, but we'll go through it. Just gonna drink some coffee while we wait here, because it has been a little bit on the long side. Gotta make sure I recaffeinate a little bit. The truth is, if I just go without coffee for more than 45 minutes, I'll die. I'm like a much tamer, more corporate version of Jason Statham from Crank. People... Those Crank movies are in need of a reevaluation. Allow me to take a sip of this Crank right here, and then I'll explain. The Sun card's so good. What was the other? We had the Tower, I think, so that's not that important. We can get rid of that. But, yeah, so, Crank. I love the Crank series of films. And you know what's shitty is that every time I say that, I can feel through the air people's judgment passing on to me. You like Crank? Crank's just it's the dumbest action movie. That's the point, man. Crank is like what I wanted the Expendables to be. And I'm not, every time I say I don't like the Expendables, people are like, oh, you just hate fun. It's like the Goat Simulator argument. If you don't like Goat Simulator, you just don't have a sense of humor. No, you're mistaking me so hard, and it's impossible to explain it, which is why I love this as a completely one-sided conversation. You might be disagreeing with me right now, but I can't hear it, so I can just ramble on, right? Anyway, the Expendables, I wanted it to be like the cheesiest 80s action movie of all time. Instead, I haven't seen the second and third one, I'll admit. And I think Expendables 1 is okay, but it's not what I wanted. Instead, they were like, okay, we got together all these cheesy 80s action movie stars. Dolph Lundgren, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then we just put them in like a pretty straight up action movie. So it became kind of this like Super Smash Brothers thing where the reason you're watching it is just to kind of see the fight scenes. And you're like, how cool is it to see, like, you know, Terry Crews fight Stone Cold Steve Austin? I'm like, yeah, sure, it's kind of cool in, like, a celebrity deathmatch kind of way. But I was really hoping that it would be almost like 2 tiers down from MacGruber level of self-aware, ironic action movie comedy. Because MacGruber went a little overboard as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, that's what Crank wears that. Oh, we have the perfect trinkets now. Crank wears that on its fucking sleeve, man. Crank is the movie that says we're gonna be the dumbest action movie of all time, but it's actually like fun and somewhat well made, if not extremely over the top in the process. It's a movie that knows where it's positioned itself and like what it wants to be. I genuinely just can't gamble here anymore. It's just gonna annoy the crap out of me constantly picking this new stuff up. So I think I'm just gonna leave, but I'm happy with where we're at. I want to get that trinket. I think Cancer Curved Horn is what we want, and Fool Card is not. Oh, Jesus. Come on. Magician, you'll just take it. Magician, just take it. Emperor, that's not what we want. I know we could use that and then use the Sun card, but just, there we go. That we want the Sun card, and then we want to pick up Curved Horn, which is down here. And we want to get Cancer Trinket as well. But then we got the Fool card out of it, so we got to go through this song and dance again. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, did we do it? We did. No, we need to pick up Cancer Trinket. Okay, this is fine. Yeah, so the Crank movies, I think they're wonderful. I think that is the closest, even though it's not based on a video game, as far as I'm concerned, Crank and Crank 2, and the sequel's just as good as the original, are like the best video game movies ever made. I would love to see a video game based on the Crank series of films. But whenever... I hate this, like, oh, I'm too smart for that attitude sometimes. Like, it happens sometimes, like, so with Crank, people are like, that's really dumb. I don't watch movies with dumb premises. Okay, you're missing out. Dumb movies are, if they're self-aware, or sometimes even if they're not, but are, like, a real treat. But I had the same thing, like, I'm one of those people who really likes the Evil Dead series of movies, especially Evil Dead 2. So I was in university, and I, like, showed Evil Dead to a bunch of my friends. Evil Dead 2, I should say. And then they started making fun of it, and they're like, wow, this is so cheesy. And I'm like, you don't understand. That's the fucking point. And I still, you know, these are great friends to this day, but that's the fucking point. And they're like, ha ha ha, ha ha, wow, that tree is doing some gross stuff to her, ha ha, who thought this would be good? No, you don't get it. that's the point. It's meant to be cheesy in like a self-aware, so bad it's good kind of like schlock horror kind of way. So you're trying to make yourself seem smarter than the movie because you think the movie's dumb, but the movie's smart enough to be like one step ahead of you, despite being an inanimate fucking object, and is like, we know that people are gonna make fun of it, but if you make fun of it, we're already making fun of ourselves, so you just look like an asshole. It's like if somebody, like, let's say I was like, yeah, you know, it's really easy to get blinded by the reflection on my head, and then somebody just came by and was like, haha, you're bald, I get it, haha, you're bald. Like, that makes you look like a dick, alright? Or at least, like, you kind of just don't get the social convention of it, which I guess is a totally different thing. But anyway, that's the thing that gets me, is that's when people watch Crank and they're like, wow, it's so stupid that Jason Statham has to electrically shock himself. If he hooked himself up to a car battery like that, he would be dead. Oh, he would never have sex with his girlfriend at a racetrack, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the joke. Anyway, this has been a weird episode for tangents, but it's been very, what's the word? It starts with a C. Oh, a damage upgrade. I probably won't take Skinny on Mushroom. Cathartic, that's the word I'm looking for. It's been very cathartic for me. We don't know what this pill does. It could be anything. That's pretty good. I think we'll take the Rosary right away and reroll these other two. Yeah, Little Gish is fine. I'm just gonna try to get to the boss room as quickly as possible, and I think, like, from the jaws of defeat, we may have snatched victory here. It's not a guarantee, but we picked up a damage upgrade there. We have this Sun card, we have some Spirit Arts backing us up. I think it's definitely, it's plausible. Now, we are low on speed. That's a problem for me. Unless Little Gish exists, which it does, apparently. We don't need to pick that up. I should try to get this tarot card, because you never know. I had a feeling I might get caught there. The tarot card could be like Hierophant or Lovers or something like that, both of which would be useful. So we'll try to kill Wrath first and then Sloth last. By the way, keep in mind, if you get offended by what I'm saying over the course of these episodes, ooh, let me return to that in a moment here. Yeah? Okay, we'll give it a try. That's not... It might be useful, but I think it's a little too late. If you get offended by what I'm saying... Oh, we're not going to get another reroll. If you get offended by what I'm saying over the course of these episodes, I never intend for it to be that. I'm my own worst critic, and I make fun of my own hypocrisy and bullshit, snobbiness, and obnoxiousness in my attitude towards things, like unnecessarily dismissive, all the time. I recognize that I'm as guilty of the things that I, you know, make fun of other people for being guilty of. So the lens is always pointed inwards as well as outwards. But beyond that, this is like a 55-minute stream of fucking consciousness. So I'm a polite person in real life, and in my communication, I do my best to be honest while also, having the communications be palatable to the people who are hearing it. But sometimes that design slips off a little bit over the course of a video where, to ramble for 55 minutes, it's an acquired skill, let's put it that way, and, you don't always have the best kind of communication skills at the end of one of these. If you've done like a 5-minute speech or, maybe even a half-hour-long seminar or something like that in high school or college, you prepare for it. We just won, by the way. You prepare for it diligently for weeks to be able to speak as if you're being natural and everything's just coming off the top while also being well-researched. It's an acquired skill. So if I spout some bullshit here, I apologize. But in any case, it was a fun run, an exciting run. It wasn't very community remixy, but hey, hopefully the next one will be. As always, thanks for your incredible support in the series. If you've enjoyed the episodes, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.